welcome to
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to
Everything Entertainment.
So, sis, you are up first. What do you have?
Okay, so I don't watch the reality shows, right?
Okay.
Ever. But I was on social media and I saw part of a reality show where it was like this teenage black kid, right?
Okay.
Little teenage boy. And he was in the wilderness, so I thought it was like a scared straight type thing. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Who would do this? They're just idiots." Blah 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 blah. And then he looks in the camera and says, "I need to go home now. Bring me home now. Extract me now." The name of the show is Extracted.
Ah.
So it's 12 contestants.
Got it.
And they are with 3 of their family members or friends. 2 of their family members or friends. That's a team of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is you're competing for $250,000.
Nice.
If one person can stay in the wilderness, all they have is they get a helicopter ride way away from where everybody else is. Because everybody else is in a cabin. So they get a helicopter ride out into the wilderness, get dropped off. The only thing they have is the camera, whatever they have on their body as far as clothes, shoes, whatever, and a canteen full of water.
Okay.
That's what they drop you off with. And then they're like, survive.
But you're out there. You go out there with your family.
No. No. Only one person from the family goes.
Oh, so they have to decide of the people in the family.
Yeah. Usually, like one person will sign up for it, and then they pick 2 people to come with them. So the 2 people who come with them are support. Therefore, how the show works is that you like, so if I was in the wilderness, right, and let's say it was you and Stu, y'all would be seeing me in the wilderness. I would have my camera up and I'll be able to talk to y'all. Y'all can't talk to me though, but you can hear everything that's happening. But I could tell you, it would be really, really nice if I had like this, if I had a axe, or if I had a hatchet, or if I had, like a tarp or a sleeping bag, or
and then they can get it for you.
And then, so this is the thing, it becomes a game 2 times, because it's a game for the people in the wilderness, but it's also a game for the people who are in the cabin, because now your family members have to go against other family members to compete for what you need. Yes. Yes. So it's like, at one point they were like, all right, so we have this person is out, and now we're gonna see we're gonna need to eliminate one person. Okay. So then 2 people, so then everybody else will be able to have hot chocolate and dry socks, because it's been raining out there for days. Yeah. So then now everybody's standing around and it's like, well, yeah, your guy is doing good, so he should be eliminated. It's like, why am I going to eliminate my guy? Because he's doing good. Like, your person should have done some research and known what they were supposed to do. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're surviving in the middle of the wilderness. And so it's like that whole back and forth. It's a lot of like animosity towards people. But then also it is a lot of coming together for some people, because you're watching everybody. So you're not just watching your family member. You're also watching everybody else's, and everyone can hear what is happening. So they'll have a whole bunch of little screens all over. Like, so just imagine, like, I'm trying to process just imagine how NASA is. Everybody's sitting down, and then it's like the big screens in front of you, and then everybody's sitting down looking at the screens. So in the front, the front like 4 or 6 screens is going to be the main person that you get to hear talking. Okay. But all the little screens on the side is going to be everybody else doing their thing. Okay. So I guess the producers are like, all right, let's see what this person is doing. I like listening. It's like, oh, this person is going off. Put them up. Boom. Yeah. Then they're up, and then you can hear the person crying and screaming. But it takes a toll on a lot of people. Like, some of the people were
mental like, toll. You're by yourself.
Oh yeah. You're by yourself.
You don't have anything.
And the crazy thing is,
mad because why isn't my family giving me everything?
Yeah. That's what was happening. It was like, oh, thanks. I got an empty box. What did I do to get an empty box? Because I don't know if they know the stipulation of that, what the family is going through.
Right. I don't know where.
If it was just like, I just signed up for this wilderness thing. Yeah. And y'all come with me to, help me out.
So they don't know that their family's competing? Yeah, or you don't know if they
I don't know for sure if they know what
the families, especially the first season. After this, you'll kind of get an idea potentially, but for the first season, you don't even know what your family is going through while you're going through.
Exactly. So it's like it's quite a few couples. So let me go over some of these names. Okay. So like Anthony was the main one, the first one who got my attention. He's like, if y'all don't distract me right now, things are going to be very bad when I see you 2 when I leave. Okay. And he's like, and that is not asking. That is a command.
And that's him talking to his family.
His mother and father.
Oh, wow.
After his mother stayed up all night to make sure he was okay. She's like, that's my only baby.
Aww.
So she's sitting there watching him, and he's just like, I'm cold, I'm hungry, I'm tired.
And they can get him extracted, or does he have to do something himself?
They are the ones who can pull you out. Okay. Only your family can pull you out. You can say, I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to leave.
No, we want you to make money.
Yes. Absolutely. That actually happens on the show. Oh, yes, that's literally what happens.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. But like, hold on, wait. You said you do what you signed up for. We got this money. We need this money.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, she stayed up with him and listened to him and everything. And then finally, she was like, once she heard him being disrespectful, which I'm like, how did you not know he's disrespectful? He's your child. You raised him.
But maybe maybe being out there did something to him and made him
that's not
disrespectful before.
Yes, okay. Because the father was like, the father was like, I want to bring him out because I know how he's gonna get. The mother was like, well, he signed up for this. He knew what he wanted, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But she's still like, this is my baby. She's trying to be there to support him. Yeah. But she's like, no, this is what you want to do. I ain't taking you out.
Trying to soften the blow. Yeah. Like you chose to do this, so therefore, okay. Like,
and then
I don't want you to be upset at me for pulling you out when you just had a bad moment.
Exactly. Right. So then, therefore, the mother's like, I'm not doing it. And then the father's like, she don't want to do it. So then he just goes up there. He's like, I'm getting my son out. And he gets him out. And it's like, bro, you would.
So now you got whole family contention when he got home.
He was there not even a full 12 hours, I don't think.
Wow.
They dropped him off. He
wasn't strong enough to do that anyway if he's such a little jerk.
But this is the thing. He built his little shelter. He found a big boulder that was leaned over some so he could be up underneath the boulder, made a shelter this way. He made a fire. He had everything that he needed.
So then why was he trying to get out?
Because he's a little BITC. You know what?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so if he did all of that and was like, get me out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he just didn't want to be there.
Then it just becomes, okay, well, what do you do as the family? Because you're like, okay, do I allow him to stay there and let him toughen up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or do I just say, and know that I'll deal with the repercussions of that if I did? What would you do?
If it was me. If I signed up for this, and it's me, and you, and let's say you and whoever.
I would say you would need to have a code word before you get in there so that way, if you said,
if I said
abracadabra.
Yeah. If I said like, red solo cups.
Red solo cups. Then it's like, something that's weird and I know that it's not something you would normally say out in the wilderness. Then I would just say, all right, that's her being real serious. This isn't just for TV dramatic effect.
Yeah, exactly.
This is her really serious.
Now, so this is a show that's on Fox and Hulu. Okay. Now, it's based in Canada. They're in British Columbia in Canada.
That sounds cold, too.
It is. Yeah. But you know what's so crazy? It kind of looks like Utah. Oh, really? Interesting. Or like Utah, Colorado type little looking area. Yeah. So and I mean it looks nice and everything. So I already told you about Anthony. Yeah. So and then comes Davina. So Davina is with her sister and her stepdaughter. Now her sister's like, you're a princess, and she was like, I can do this, guys. And her sister says, your husband does everything for you. I'm surprised he doesn't wipe your ASS. Oh, wow. And she was like, did you just say that? She said, yes, because he does everything for you. Everything. And, so then it's all about her. And like, she gets out there, she struggles because she hasn't made a shelter, nor has she made a fire, because she has no idea what she's doing. She was like, I thought this was a group effort. Like, we were all going to be together doing this, and like she thought all the contestants were going to be together, like it was Survivor.
That's what I was thinking. No, they already have a Survivor.
That's going to be on Paramount. Okay? That is not right now. We on Hulu. Okay. Yeah. So she's struggling bad, and she's just like ready to leave. So you got Ryan W. So you got his wife and his brother. Like, I automatically think he's going to win. Oh, this dude is chilling. He got like a condo. They ended up having to get a deer. Like, they got a deer dropped off to them so everybody could get some.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, they got a deer dropped off to them. Like a killed deer dropped off to them.
It's already killed.
It was already killed, and they had taken all the...
like they get a deer. I'm like, a live deer?
No. That help them? But, okay. They had dropped off a dead deer that was already gutted. Oh. They still had to skin it and, cut what they wanted. This dude, Ryan W., he's done made a little, he made his own little beehive, little smoker. Oh. And he's smoking meat.
Wait, okay. He's in a natural, what do you call it? I don't know.
No, his wife said, his wife, so they, like, his wife was like, yeah, I don't know how he's going to do with this, because when he said he wanted to do it, him and his friends went out on a fishing trip in the wilderness, and I don't think they lasted a couple of hours.
Oh, wow. And then here he is.
And
like
here he is, and he is thriving. Like, he has it so well. He's like in between two trees. He's made like this perfect shelter. He has moss on top, so then that way no rain comes in, with a whole bunch of big leaves on top of it. He's helps doing amazing. Okay, amazing. He got like a little he had a little tarp that went over to where the little smoker area is. He got his fire out there. Like, he has multiple things happening.
How long are they supposed to be out there to win?
I guess till the show's over. It doesn't say exactly how long. I don't remember.
Okay. Like till the last person standing, basically.
I don't know if it's the last person. I guess it's the last person standing. Yeah, the last two or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have him. Then you also have Ryan H. Now, Ryan H is a stock car driver, right? Okay. And he's with his mom and his dad.
Everybody sounds young.
Everybody is between like 24 to like 50 something.
Oh, so you have some 50-year-olds out there too.
Okay. So Ryan H., when his parents are trying to set him up for him to get his box. Yeah. They did too much. So they had to take some stuff out, and the time ran out. Oh. So he got things that he really didn't need that they had just put in there, but all the main stuff that they were trying to crunch down in there, they had to take out to try to redo it, and the timer went off, and they couldn't put it in. So he opens the box
with the main stuff.
Exactly, but no, they did, but it was the way that they did it. But then he gets it, and he's like, "All right, this is
not what I need.
This is cool. That's fine. I get something." He's like, "As long as I get something." So he's a good sport.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that he might be able to win too. Okay. Now, so you have Haley. So Haley is with her two girl cousins. She also may win because she's a beast. She's like, she's like, I live in a van that I made myself, that I also travel with. She's like, the hardest thing about my life is trying to find somewhere to park your sleep.
Yeah, park to sleep. Yeah.
But she's really good with everything that she has going on. She's like built fires and everything.
Love it.
And then you have Jake. Jake has his two brothers. One of the guys is not
State Farm.
Yeah. One of the guys is not actually his blood brother. It's just one of his good friends that he said he hit rock bottom, and Jake's family took him in as their own. Okay. So he was like they were just super close. He's doing really good too. Like, he is like thriving. He is like a hatchet. He got like 2 sleeping blankets and like, I don't know. He has all kinds of stuff. He got cans of beans, peaches. Yeah. You have Woody. So Woody, you got his son and his nephew. Let me tell you about this man Woody. He couldn't get his fire started. Okay. And he was thirsty because he drank his whole canteen down as soon as he got out there. He said, "I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go ahead and drink this lake water. I don't care." What? Sir.
No, you don't do that.
No.
He's going to be sick as a dog.
Absolutely. His nephew was like, "Yeah, if he starts throwing up, I think we should pull him out." His son's like, "Well, I mean, he signed up for it, son. He knew."
He going to die in the forest.
Yeah. I mean, who was it? Haley, she was going around and she just started picking up berries. And I was like, "Are you sure that these berries are edible? Are they not poison?" She was like, "They're just blueberries." I mean, I've walked through the woods and I've seen things that look like strawberries.
But they're not strawberries. Yeah. Right, exactly.
So therefore, yeah, I'm not...
people taking chances.
People taking chances, yeah. All right, so then also you have Rose. Rose is there with her aunt and her cousin. And she is the main one that's struggling. She's not been able to build a fire. Her... the place where she has her little shelter is leaking rain, so she is constantly soaking wet. Her feet are frozen. She says she can't feel her feet. Oh, no. She's constantly shaking as she's talking because she's soaking wet. So it's like her family is like, we don't know what to do. Like, do we leave her out there? She's not asking to come home.
But then she could have hypothermia.
Yeah, exactly. But they're like,
lose her feet.
Yeah, but they're like, we're trying to go off of her, but she's not saying she wants to go home.
Anything. Right?
She's just saying, "Yeah, I don't feel good, and this has happened." Yeah. She's like, "Oh, I don't feel good. I feel like lightheaded because she hadn't really eaten." And then you also have Jacobin. Now, Jacobin has his uncle and his cousin with him. Now, here's what's going on with them. They are like, we ain't here to make friends. We here for $250,000. So if you want to go up there and extract somebody, I'm not stopping you. You go ahead and do what you do, because that makes me closer to my money.
Right.
Now, yeah. You have Megan. So she has her dad and her best friend. They're on it. Like, they're just like, they're such a great crew working together. Like, even when the first guy, Anthony, got extracted in the first 15 minutes of the show, even when that happened, that man, what's her name, Megan's father, went over to his father and stood up and gave him a hug. Like, yeah, as soon as the guy went over and stuck the card in, you see the guy stand up. And I was like, oh, is he getting hype? And then as soon as he turns around, the guy's there and give him a hug. And the guy was like just the nicest guy, but they are really good at picking things to help, listening to what she's saying. They're taking notes. Like when she's like, oh, I wish I could blah, 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 they're writing stuff down. Okay, this is what she needs. So if we go back in there, this is what we need to look for.
Gotcha.
So they are on it. They're like, we came to win.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you also have Ashley. Ashley has her fiance and her future father-in-law. Now, Ashley struggled to make a fire. She really, really struggled. Like, she couldn't make a fire. Now, her future husband is a big macho outdoorsy man, so he's been showing her stuff.
Okay.
So she's trying to make the fire. He's getting agitated watching her, and now he's talking all this crap. Then he gets up and was like, I can't watch this anymore. If she can't make a fire, we're not getting married.
What?
Come on, bro.
That is just your excuse. You were just waiting for an excuse.
That's what I'm saying. But he was very like, he kept saying, I think it was his idea for her to do it, because he probably wouldn't be able to do it because he has all the wilderness training, and they wouldn't put him in for that. So her doing it, him teaching her what to do, getting frustrated
because I taught you before we came.
But then he probably already spent the money. Oh. He's like, I know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is very much, he kept saying over and over again, well, yeah, she said that when she says to be extracted, give it another day or two. And he keeps saying that over and over again, exact same way. So I'm like, it sounds like you said to her, hey, when you want to get extracted, let's give it a day or two before we pull you out. Yeah, and see before we pull it
then
out.
She says it again, and he's saying, okay, I need another day or two.
Yeah. But no, I think it's like he said it to her before they went in. And then she's just like, okay, I'll go along with it.
She wants to get out?
Yeah, she wants to get out. But her father-in-law is like, okay, come on, get out your head. Ashley, get out your head. You know what you're doing. So he's like talking to her, but she's like, she can't hear it. Yeah. But he's like really cares about her. And there's one part where he was just like, I'm so proud to call her my daughter-in-law. And he's bawling.
Oh, and the son is like, she ain't going to be your daughter-in-law. I said I'm not marrying her. No,
no. Now, I was looking at him crying, and I was like, is he crying because he realized how sweet she is and how much of an a-hole his son is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that as well. You never know. All right, and last but not least, we have Robin. So Robin is there with her daughter and her husband. And with her daughter, her daughter's a mama's girl.
Okay.
Right. And her husband is kind of separated from the daughter because I guess when she hit puberty, he didn't know what to do because it's you're a woman now, and I don't understand.
Who are you?
Yeah, like he was just like, he kept saying, like, I wish I had my 12-year-old girl back, like, blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
I gotta grow up.
Exactly. And then she's like, but you're there, but you're not there. She was like, so it's not. She was like, we've worked on our relationship now, but she was like, but we still need to work on more. And she's bawling and crying and be like, I wish mom was here, and I don't want to be here with you anymore, Dad. Aww. She goes off on him. If you don't pull her out, then I'll go up there and do it myself. And it's like, but your mom is not struggling. Your mom is out there big chilling.
Right.
Because she's actually gone camping, done survival stuff. She had like CPR stuff that she's been doing. So she's cool. Yeah. She's good.
So don't stress over it.
Exactly. But so that's the whole episode, the whole show. But so the new episode, the last and final episode is coming on the 21st.
Okay.
And that's gonna be it. That's the last episode. I didn't know it was like a show that was out now.
Oh, gotcha.
So like I was watching it, and then it was like, next episode on the 21st, and I was like,
okay, cool.
Look at that. So check it out. It's actually entertaining if you want to see people try to do things that they know nothing about. It is called Extracted on Hulu.
Sounds good.
Yeah, what do you have next?
Okay, so I have something that I really enjoyed watching, and it's on Apple TV Plus, and it's called Number One on the Call Sheet.
I haven't watched it, but I did.
Yeah, Black leading men and women. So they have 2 episodes, one for Black leading men and one for Black leading women in Hollywood. And so it has an all-star cast because it's all about, Black actors. And so for the first episode, it's the men. And you have Jamie Foxx and Kevin Hart, I think, are part of the production crew because it says Foxhole and Heartbeat as being part of the production. Yeah, so I think they pulled in all the people that they know collectively to be a part of this, awesome. Right? So it's really, really a great way to find out more about what it's like being number one on the call sheet. And I'll talk about what that means. So we have Jamie Foxx in here, Kevin Hart, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Boyega. I always mess that up. Don Cheadle, Morris Chestnut, Ice Cube, Taye Diggs, Idris Elba. I don't know how I said Idris. Lawrence Fishburne, Morgan Freeman.
It is Idris, isn't it?
Idris? I think
it's Idris
Elba.
The I is an E.
Idris. Okay. Yeah. It's the Elba dude.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, Daniel Kaluuya, Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. Yep, Will Smith, Quentin Tarantino is in here from a perspective of just being a director. You have Denzel Washington, you have Marlon Wayans, you have, like I said, it goes on and on and on. So it is really, really good. But number one on the call sheet means that you are the main person on this particular movie set or show, right? So you are number one on the call sheet. So for an actor, they talk about how, okay, when you first start off, you could be number 45 on the call sheet. You could be number 22 on the call sheet. You could be number 12 on the call sheet. And as you move up and up and up, it's like an honor to then one day get a script or get information and you are number one on the call sheet. That means that you are the person that everybody is looking to for direction, for leadership, for guidance. You set the tone for how the production feel is going to be for the particular movie or TV show. And so a perfect example of that was that Lawrence Fishburne was saying when he was on Apocalypse Now, he was 14 years old. And he said that
Lawrence Fishburne, I must not have ever seen Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, it's a war movie. So
he was 14 years old.
And so he said that when I think it was Scorsese or somebody was the director, and so I don't remember who it was, but whoever was the director was a famous person. Francis Ford Coppola, I don't know, somebody. I should have looked it up. But anyway, the director was like, he had to say a line.
What was the name of it?
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. And
so he had to say a line that was about having sex. But he was 14, so he had never had sex. So therefore, because he was a part of the war and, he's trying to be this big kid, but he's a kid, right? So what ends up happening is that he keeps saying it wrong. He's not saying it with the right energy. He's not saying it in the right way because he doesn't even have any reference point of what he's trying to talk about. And so he said that number one on the call sheet was Martin Sheen. Yeah. And so he said that Martin Sheen pulled him to the side and was like, hey, you're doing a really good job. Like, I just want you to know that I know you're doing this over and over again and you might feel like everybody's getting frustrated, but just know you're really doing good. You're going to be a great actor. And he said that it just gave him the boost of confidence instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it wrong. But number one on the call sheet told me that, hey, I'm going to be a great actor. He gave me the self-confidence that I didn't even know that I could have in myself. And because of that, I went ahead, I did what I needed to do, and it all worked out perfectly. So that's what they were saying, is that power of being number one on the call sheet is sometimes people are looking to you. They may want you to be their mentor while they're on set.
You're number one on the call sheet.
I am number one on the call sheet.
You are number one on the call sheet.
Gosh,
Look
at
that.
Think about that as a leader. I was number one on the
call sheet. Look at that.
I wasn't even acting. It was my real life.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay.
That you were acting like in corporate America.
Yeah, acting like corporate American leadership. Yep, there you go.
Oh, and it was Francis Ford Coppola.
It was Ford Coppola. Okay, yeah. I knew it was somebody like that. I couldn't remember which person, but yeah. So, so when you think of all of these actors, right, all of these people being a part of this type of production, that is huge. So I remember hearing Idris Elba. He was like, it was a magic moment for him when he said that they ended up showing this call sheet and his name was number one. He was like, oh, what? Like, this is the pecking order of who is who on this particular set. And so they were just talking about how amazing it is. And, you know, that's really what the whole thing is about, is not only about that, but how important it is to do that and to get to that stage, but also how do you deal with everything when it's like there's only so many positions for Black actors, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So then it becomes, okay, do they try to like make you feel like this person maybe is better than you and you're going up for the same things over and over again? And some of them even talk about like, I went up for this and I didn't get it, and I went up for that and I didn't get it, and this is the person who got it instead of me. One of the things Kevin Hart said was he was supposed to be the best friend of Stephen Carell. Is I say his name? Stephen Carell, the actor. Yeah. In 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh yeah, and then the other Black guy got it.
Yeah, Remy.
I don't know his name.
I think is his name. But anyway, so he was like,
But he was the hottest at that time.
Well,
he was growing. That actor.
Was he?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know him.
He was on some other shows before that. Yeah, he'd been on some other things. So that's why I was like, when you see him, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense that he's on it because he was on like some TV shows before.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing was
Kevin Hart was on Soul Plane, so they weren't going to pick him for that.
Well, he hadn't even done. I don't even know if he done. I guess he had done Soul Plane at that point, I think. But anyway, he was saying, I knew Judge. What's his name? Apatow. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, oh yeah, he was my boy. Like I knew I was I was doing it. I got this part. It's my part. What? Who? Me? I'm a Robin. What? And he said then he didn't get the part. And he was like, wait, hold up. I didn't get the part. This other dude got the part. Yeah. And then he said that when he went and saw the production, and you know how he came into that like Best Buy location and he was doing his little part against the other guy. And he said once he saw the guy acting, he was like, oh yeah, I didn't deserve to get that part. Like I really shouldn't have gotten that part. Okay. Like this is how it was supposed to be. But he said that's what pushed him to start taking acting classes and start realizing what everything was behind becoming an actor. He said so that way when his ideal part did show up and he could take that lead character, he was like, then I was ready. He said, I was ready. Like, I knew that I could step into that role where before I was inflated myself and thought I could.
Because like, you're funny. So, but it's like, oh, it's a funny movie. I could do greatness. But that guy's character is actually like funny, but sarcastic. Yeah. And still like tells you about yourself, you know, so yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Kevin Hart wouldn't have been able to. I mean, he might have
pulled it off.
But I don't think it would have worked as well. Everybody would have been laughing more at him than Steve Carell. And that's not what was needed.
No, that wasn't what was needed. Yeah, you needed everybody to focus on Steve, and you need to be the wingman to him. Yeah. So anyway, they also showed all the other people who came before our current actors on the call sheet being number one, like Sidney Poitier or Harry Belafonte, and how people like that had to break through so many cultural situations and walls and all of that to get there.
I really want to know what Sidney Poitier went through. I'll probably have to go through a rabbit hole.
They so need to do a documentary on him.
There has to be a documentary on
either
him.
A documentary or some kind of remake of his life, like they did with Ali and
like everybody else,
Ray or everybody else. But like Sidney Poitier, I can't even imagine. Yeah, but it was funny because also, who was it? I think it was Denzel Washington talked about how there was a certain role he was going to take. And he said that he didn't really know if he should have taken it. And he talked to Sidney Poitier and he was like, just know the role that you take as being that first one that everybody's going to see you with can set the stage for how people will see you as an actor going forward.
Yeah, so because you won't be typecast.
You could potentially be typecast. So therefore, if you are, going to take a certain type of role, then, just know that that's the case. Now, the other part to it is that Sidney Poitier, remember in the movie when he was in, what was the name of the In the Heat of the Night, with him being in that. And remember, that was the first time ever that the white man slapped him, and he slapped the white man back. Like that had never been seen.
Wait, was that was in the Heat of the Night?
In the Heat of the Night, yeah. And so, based on that, basically, he was just like, he ain't gonna slap me, and I'm not gonna slap him back. Like that's not gonna happen. Like we are doing this, and so it was basically like he was setting the stage not only to say, me being in here playing this role and being a serious actor, but I'm going to have some standards of me being this actor. I'm not going to just have you having me look like I'm the person who's going to take it. Exactly. No, you are going to make sure that I am going to slap them back, basically. And I was like, ooh, that's pretty powerful. They talked about how different actors have been a part of the political scene in this as well, and how people were beside Martin Luther King, or people were like with George Floyd, and how like even Michael B. Jordan got up.
But I wonder if
like,
that changed some of their jobs, though. Being able to get some jobs when they are speaking out about certain things.
It's possible, but they were just saying that it's more important about the cause than it is about, the acting, so to speak. They went into Eddie Murphy and how everybody gives praise to Eddie Murphy. Like, just he set the foundation for all these comedians out here to move over. I mean, you had, of course, him, you had Richard Pryor and different people like that, but they were just saying that he just set this whole new stage for the new age actors to kind of have a person to look up to. And Martin Lawrence was talking about him. Of course, Kevin Hart talking about him. And, when anybody said that they got the opportunity to work with him, they were like, oh my gosh, this is so great and amazing to be able to work with him. And even Will Smith said, and I didn't see this, like this was weird to me, but he said for the actor that he wanted to emulate the most, it was Beverly Hills Cop, like type of Eddie Murphy. Was like when he stepped into acting, he said, I wanted to be the Jedi Knight type of Eddie Murphy, like not Eddie Murphy as in Beverly Hills Cop, but like seeing him in the action he was doing, but I wanted to do it from a perspective of thinking of it like a Star Wars. So I wanted to be like a action figure type of Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop.
So he wanted to be like a A-team type.
No, well, here's what happened. When he got his first big role as being number one on the call sheet, it was for Independence Day.
Oh, that was the number one on the call sheet for that? Okay.
For him. So he was like, that was his way of being like Eddie Murphy. You're going around, you're doing things.
How does that make him number one on the call sheet when he had Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Number one on the call sheet means you're the main character of the show, of the movie. So
I'm saying I thought he would have had it for like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for his first time. Oh, I thought you were saying his first time.
No, what I was saying is that his first time in a movie being number one on the call sheet was Independence Day. So that was his version of being like Eddie Murphy, going around, getting the bad guys, doing this, doing that. But from an interstellar perspective of being like an action person. So he was like, this was what I had in my head of what I wanted to be. So he was like, that's how it happened. So, but they were just talking about all these different aspects of acting, of feeling like maybe discrimination, with Oscars. How many episodes is it? It's just 2 episodes
so far, or
no? It's one movie.
Okay.
It's an hour and a half. Okay. So one movie about the men, and then one movie basically about the women. Okay. So it's 2 episodes.
Miniseries.
Yep. Morgan Freeman's in there, just talking about his perspective and everything. Guess how old Morgan Freeman was when he got his break?
37.
No, much older.
52.
He was 50.
50. Okay.
50.
I mean,
because everybody's always like, because even Kevin Hart made the joke and said Morgan Freeman was always old.
Yeah, he was
like he was young, and he was like, the reason I always looked like I was old was because when I got my first job up against Clint Eastwood,
I was old.
I was 50. So, and you just think of all the movies this man has done.
But the same thing with Samuel L. Jackson. Didn't he get his first role at 40? Yeah.
So
he's in every movie.
Everything. And
when I say every movie, he might just have like a cameo just walking in the background. He's in your wallet.
Everything. Right, exactly. And I think that was Jungle Fever maybe, or was it? No, it was Coming to America. I think was his one of those 2 was his first one.
Yeah. I think it was Coming to America was his first one, and the second one he was this crackhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, mama.
So, but, Morgan Freeman talks about, his experience. You have Lawrence Fishburne talking about how he was on Pee-wee's Big Adventure or whatever. Like, he was on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and he said, I just wanted to do different things and to constantly have work. So he said, I was on Pee-wee's show, and he said, next thing he knows, he was like somebody with the little, he almost looked like Andy from, what's his name?
Toy Story?
Yeah, Toy Story. He had the little brown outfit on and the hat, and he was sitting there and talking about his horse and, all this kind of stuff. And he was like, this was just something I was doing. And he said, people try to joke me about it. He was like, but I was just trying to, get out here and do different things. And that led to a role for him. Yeah. That became a role that he was always known for. So it's just like, you take the opportunities as you get them. Yeah. He talked about Boys in the Hood. You had Morris Chestnut in here talking about Boys in the Hood. Just that whole 90s. I know. The whole 90s renaissance of all, like, they were like, the 90s were it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And they were just like, when you think about like Poetic Justice and, Boys in the Hood, and then you had like all these culturally significant things about the African American experience, right? You had Malcolm X, you just had all these different types of movies going on and on and on and on. And
it felt like it felt like in the 90s it was more Black empowerment.
Yeah, you had
than it had ever been
Van
before.
Peebles movies, you had Spike Lee movies, you had John Singleton movies, you had like everybody. So that was one of the things, and that everybody was just talking about.
It was like the time when all of those directors and cinematographers were just now coming, getting there. Yeah.
So all of that stuff was really, really powerful. Devil in the Blue Dress with Denzel, and they're just showing all these different things. Like, it was just great. Glory, all this stuff. So, long story short, that's the men's side. Now I'm going to jump into the women because I feel like I'm talking about it too much. So then you had the women's episode, and that one was just as powerful. So on the women's episode, you had a lot of women. Angela Bassett, Halle Berry, Viola Davis, Whoopi Goldberg, Cynthia Erivo, Vivica Fox, Megan Good, Tiffany Haddish, Taraji P. Henson, Nia Long, Ruth Negga. You had Gabrielle Sidibe. You had Journey Smollett, Octavia Spencer, Tessa Thompson, Gabrielle Union, Alfre Woodard.
Everybody.
I think that's everybody.
I think that's just everybody in general. No. The only people they didn't say was Whoopi and...
No, I said Whoopi.
Oh, you said Whoopi? Yeah. Okay. Well, then it didn't say Oprah. So they got the whole cast. Sugar Avery was in there, too. They got the whole cast of The Color Purple.
I was playing. Yeah, I was like, Sugar Avery wanted what I just said. But anyway, so they start off with Angela Bassett, and she's just talking about how she's just nervous. And I was like she's sitting there, like, showing behind the scenes, and they're doing her makeup and stuff. She was like, oh my gosh, my heart is beating 100 miles an hour. And they were like, why? And they were like, you're like an actress. Like, why would your heart be beating about this? And she said, because I don't have lines.
Yes,
like,
because I'm an actress. You want me to talk from off the cuff?
So it said, it starts off by saying that less than 4% of Black actresses get to be number one on the call sheet.
Facts. I believe.
And it's like, seriously, less than 4%. So, and then they were talking about how there's just very few opportunities for Black women to even get into being the best friend of somebody on a movie, so they're just saying that there's always this situation where they are being told, oh, well, like Journey had said that her people kept telling her, oh, they're not ready yet. Like, they're not ready yet to cast for blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And she's like, they're getting ready to start next week. Yeah. What do you mean they're not ready? But it was that they're not ready yet.
For a Black girl.
Well, but it was more that they're what they were asking for, and her person didn't want to tell her, but they were like, basically what they're asking for is somebody blonde with blue eyes, and they aren't ready for somebody else to step into that role yet. Yeah, so maybe if they can't find the blonde hair, blue eyed, then they'll move to, but they aren't going to do that, So that's what she was saying was kind of what her agent would always say is that, oh, well, they're just not ready yet to cast, for anything that you would be in right yet, like for
But you know what? The Underground Railroad, well, it was Underground. Wait, was it Underground? What was the one that she was
Underground. In? I think that's what you had said.
Wait, because there was another one. There was one that was on Amazon and one that was on...
Well, whichever one. What were you going to say?
But the one that she was in, that one, I thought that was a really good show.
Oh, yeah.
And then it got canceled. I think it might have been like...
Yeah, that's some of the stuff they talk about too. Is like what is expected to be,
Yeah. what is expected,
the norm.
Like,
and,
because it's like, what do people like to watch? Because one year you can put out, I feel like it's everything about slavery. Everybody watches everything about slavery.
Because
But I mean, other than that, it's like, what other kind of genres of movies do people like to see with black leading roles?
Yeah, that's true.
That people would actually enjoy.
And that's what they said, is that it's the misunderstanding of what people will spend their money on, right? Yeah. And so you put out a movie like The Color Purple, and they're like, all right, Spielberg, if you want to do it, you can do it, but it doesn't mean that people are really going to go pay for it. And then they realize, oh my gosh, this is so much money.
Yes.
And then, like, for example, they talked about Black Panther. Oh, and then the men's, they talked about Chadwick Boseman too. And like everybody was just like so sad. They were like, he was such a talent. Yeah. He was so sweet. To go through all of what he was going through and not say a word, all of those things. And Michael B. Jordan could barely get his words out, talking about him because of how closely they worked together and everything. And how
Denzel paid for his school, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And just I don't even know if I heard the Denzel part of him talking about him. I know Lawrence Fishburne talked about him, and Michael B. Jordan and Kevin Hart, and just different people like that. But they were just, Michael B. Jordan was just saying, we were supposed to be like making movies together for a very long time. Exactly, like it was just going to be us, like doing things. They were the new leading men. Exactly. And so, but for the women's side, they talked about everything from hair.
Oh, of course, you have to.
And trying to get their hair done for movies. And then they said, you go into a production set, and number one, you're the only one that looks like you.
Yes.
Number two, all of the hair and stylists, makeup artists, everything don't look like you. So you end up looking like a ghost.
Never touched black hair. What they like to call urban hair.
And they end up going through and like dyeing your hair, doing something, because Vivica Fox told a story about her in Independence Day and how the lady ended up trying to do something to her hair. She said, my hair was so fried and so messed up by the end of that movie. Like, she was like, I just want your hair to blow in the air, wind. And she was like, oh my gosh, my hair was just totally messed up.
Yeah. That's really sad. I saw that on something else where somebody was talking about it, and it was like, we really got to do better with this.
Yep. And so they also talked about the previous women who have been in the fight from, Cicely Tyson, Diana Ross from Lady Sings the Blues, Dorothy Dandridge, what was her name? Hattie Mae? What was her name? The one, I forgot, but the one who got the very first Oscar from Gone
Hattie
with the Wind.
McDaniels?
Yeah, McDaniels. That's it, Hattie McDaniels. So all of these
You were trying to put Hattie and Mom's Mabley together?
I don't know what I
did.
I
thought you said Hattie Mabley.
No. So they were just talking about all the actresses that like paved the way for them, even Diana Carroll, all of those kind of things. So then it went into how Halle Berry was like, oh, I absolutely, like, Dorothy Dandridge was my person. And then to know that she got to play Dorothy Dandridge, so that was pretty exciting. Oh, they talked about even Angela Davis. Just different people. So anyway, long story short, Lena Horne, like everybody. So they were just saying how these were the pioneers for the women, how when Halle Berry got her Oscar for Best Actress, that was just like, oh my gosh, like everybody was talking about, like all the other actresses who watched it were like, oh, finally somebody has gotten it, because Hattie McDaniel had gotten it for Gone with the Wind as a supporting.
But she was the housekeeper, right?
Yep. And so they talked about that, but nobody had gotten it for Best Actress. So when she won, and Halle was up there and she was crying, she was so emotional and all of that. But like Taraji was like, everybody was crying. I was crying. Everybody crying. Yeah, but then they were like, but why hasn't anything happened since? And then they showed all of the black women who have been up for Best Actress.
Not even Viola Davis?
Wait. Oh, okay. All of the women who have been up for Best Actress, and they've never won. They always lost.
To Meryl Streep.
It was everybody from Renee Zellweger to Meryl Streep to Sandra Bullock
Nicole
to anybody, right? Yeah. And then they said, but if it's supporting, we can get supporting. So that's why Viola got it. That's how Octavia got it. That's how certain people are getting it. Cynthia is like as supporting. Yeah. But when you're the main character, and they were like, when you think of Audra Day playing Billie Holiday, and you think about Viola Davis playing whatever that character was, where she was like looking like that really like a heavy set older lady being
back something, but she was
the back room, blah blah blah.
She was a singer.
And they were saying how she really she embodied,
and that whole show, that whole movie or whatever was in one room and outside in the alley. That was the whole thing.
And they're like, for the work and the artistry that goes into all that. So Halle was like, I'm watching that yes, somebody's joining me. I'm ready. Let's go. It's 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
Or it's 5 or whatever. And then they still didn't win.
Yeah.
And they was like, oh my God, come on. They did the best work this year. And so, so anyway, they're just talking about what is needed? What is it that we need to do in order for us to get there, right? And so that was a whole part of it. Whoopi talked about her journey, how she wanted to be in movies. No one was really thinking that she had the right look. She was too dark. She was too ugly, da-da-da. She was like, I was beautiful. I don't know what they were talking about, but I knew I was beautiful. And so then she decided that's where she would do her one-woman show. So she was doing that. It moved to Broadway. And then Steven Spielberg reached out to her and was like, hey, we need you to be in The Color Purple and we want you to be Celie. And she said she had actually written out to Alice Walker and said, hey, if there is ever a production of The Color Purple, I would love to be in it. I don't care what position I'm in, just I want to be in it. And so he was like, yeah, we know. Alice was the one that told us to reach out to you to play Celie. And she was like, oh my God, I didn't know that my, message actually got to her like that. But she said that she just stepped into it. And she did such an amazing job for somebody who was a comedian.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. To step into being that kind of emotional actress.
But she had already been practicing for that because she had already been on Broadway, right?
I literally just said that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but she had been she went from, because that's when she was getting to the EGOT.
The EGOT's much later
but she got didn't she get for when she got the Tony for when she was doing.
I think she got a Tony for her stand-up. I mean, a Broadway show. And then she got her Grammy for her stand-up. I thought she got the Grammy for the recording of her Broadway show. Maybe
one-man show. It was
something like that. Yeah. And then she got the Oscar for playing Ghost.
Oh yeah. That's
for Ghost because I was supporting.
Yeah.
And then what else? That's an Emmy. No. Emmy for something. I don't remember what her
Emmy.
I don't know what the Emmy.
Oh, it's probably for a TV show that she was on.
Yeah, some TV show, but
maybe
I can't remember.
No, it would have been way before that. But yeah.
So anyway, so that's something that is very esteemed for people as well, to be an EGOT, which means Oscar, Grammy, Tony. It's Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. So that's what the EGOT stands for. So, but they went through a whole bunch of different things. So number 1 on the call sheet for the women, and just saying that, hey, it just feels a lot harder sometimes for the women to get to that stage. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have multiple women as an ensemble cast. So then you don't like Girls Trip or, something where, you don't really have one standalone person as being the main person for it. They talked about how Halle, she wanted to, I thought this was weird. She said for her being a part of Jungle Fever, that Spike Lee wanted her to play his wife. Okay. She wanted to play the crackhead.
Oh, okay.
So she said that she went and auditioned for the wife. Mm-hmm. And she said, because everybody was like, oh, you're a beauty queen. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. And she was just like, I didn't want that to hinder my career of being pretty. So, she's just like so aware of, everybody says I'm so beautiful. I need to make myself as ugly as humanly
because
possible.
That's the thing. It's like when she's like, I get everything handed to me, and I don't want my looks to be the reason why I succeed.
Yeah,
I want my
talent.
Yeah, my talent.
So she said instead, what she did is she just said, all right, well, let me go ahead and come back in. Let me take off my makeup. Let me come back in and let me play the crackhead, and let me just show you that that's who I am. And she came back and played that, and he was like, Dad, you are a crackhead.
Yeah, right. So you straight Alfred Woodard in here right now.
Yeah, so he put her into that role, and so that was kind of interesting as well. But they talked about a little bit of everything. Nia Long talked about how she's been seen as difficult on a set because she's like, look, I just want to do my own makeup. Like, sometimes I want to do that. And they're like, oh, well, that could be seen as difficult. And she's like, yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. I've been told that I've been difficult. She's like, but sometimes you just have to have your own voice, right? You have where, what is the lady's name? She was in Loving. Remember the movie Loving?
Yes.
But she was saying how, like, her last name is Negar, like Neggar or something like that, right? And so she said that people have been telling her, you need to change your name, Ruth Nega. That's it, Negga. That's it, Nega. So she was like, so people will say her name in such a way that almost makes it sound like they're trying to say it in a different way. And so she is just like, I'm not changing my name. That's my daddy's name, and it's our family name, and I'm not changing it. And I just want people to know that, you know, I'm taking power in the name. And she said what it actually meant. Because she's British or something like that. And so, long story short, they go through that whole story. Gabrielle Sidibe talks about her playing that role of Precious, but that in the past, she had actually been a phone sex operator before she was there. Yeah, she said they had a black line and a white line, and nobody ever called the black line, so they only called the white line. So she was like, "Hello, how are you? Oh my God,
she could do it. She could do it.
And and she so played that role, and I was like, oh my gosh. So she was like, you know, all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, girlfriend. And so, but yeah, everybody talked about all the great things. Gabrielle Union talked about how she was always the best friend. She was always the black best friend in the 90s of all these different, you know, people and everything there. You had Alfre Woodard just talk about just her experience and just it's just so good. I just highly recommend watching both of these. You will not be disappointed just hearing everybody's stories, what they did, what they've been through. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that is it's called Number One on the Call Sheet, Black Leading Men in Hollywood. And then the second episode is Black Leading Women in Hollywood. They're both documentaries that are about an hour and a half long.
All right. I like it. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. Really. So there you go. All right. So what you got next, sis?
I got some hot topics. All right. So piggybacking off of who you were talking about, Halle Berry. So I watched the interview that she did with Hassan Minhaj.
I have no idea who that is.
You definitely do know who he is. Oh, I do know him? Yeah, you do know who he is. Hassan.
Never seen him before a day in my life.
Get out of here. He's on everything. He was on like Jon Stewart's show. He's
I never watched that.
I think he has his own show. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm under a rock.
Yeah, but we're gonna get you from up under there. But but yeah, they he did an interview with her, and the name of it is Halle Berry is your new sex ed teacher.
Oh.
Halle Berry actually talks about menopause.
Oh.
Now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was talking about that with Oprah too.
Yeah. So she is really into the research for menopause, and this is the reason why.
Okay.
She was dating a gentleman.
Okay.
And things got serious.
Okay.
And then something happened to her, so she went to her OBGYN. And they said, you have herpes. And she goes back to him and throws paper. Boom, you gave me herpes. And he said, no, I didn't. He went and got tested, threw papers in her face. Boom, you
gave me?
No, I don't have herpes.
Ah.
So she's like, what is going on? So she goes back to her doctor trying to figure out what's going on. They test her again. She doesn't have herpes.
What?
Yeah. And she's like, what happened? Your body chemistry when you were going through menopause, and she breaks down, it's like 4 or 5 different menopauses. Did you know that? It's like heropause and elopause. It's so many different menopauses. So it's like it starts at 30 and then like ends at 60 something. But
I know perimenopause and menopause. That's the only two I've ever heard.
No, there's another one in between peri. That starts with an H or something like that, but she breaks it all down.
And Harry?
But she breaks it all down.
Wow.
But yeah, she's just saying that your body chemistry just does something different, and because that nobody in science does any study on women with the menopause is very faux pas. You don't talk about it, but the only thing that they really study for women is like how they would be able to have babies or whatever. Like that's what they study for women. It's like
because
the women's reproductive system.
Well,
that's it.
The thing is men don't go through menopause, right? And so men are the ones who have always been in the realm of figuring out the research, right? Because the doctors were the men and whatever, and women were very little in medical school and all that. So if men had menopause, like men have ED, you'd have 15,000 options.
Absolutely.
But because men don't have menopause and they just think it's just that weird, crazy time for women,
they don't understand it.
But they didn't even put any research behind it.
At all,
At all.
At all. And there was a doctor that I talked about before, Dr. Sims, remember I told you she when she was talking and she was like menopause, they don't talk about menopause, and then she said when she now does studies on women with athletics, because all of the studies for when they talk about how people should work out and everything, men and women, all comes from studies of men, not studies of women. No. So therefore she's like, and people are just running, like getting this information that's about a man and giving it to a woman, and then the woman's frustrated because she doesn't know what's going on with her body. Yep. So yeah, Halle Berry was talking about that. Wow. So I thought that was kind of cool. But then I thought that was like, wow, your body is amazing that you can just be amazing. Like, hey, you got an STD. I'm just kidding. No, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you even test to look like you have that? And then, kudos to her for being so transparent about it. Because you could just be like, I ain't ever telling this story. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then it's like, it didn't happen, but still, it's like, just to have people even think, like, to hear half the story, be like, she got herpes, and nobody even listened to the rest of the story.
Exactly. But, she was saying, if I'm going through this, that means that multiple people are going through this. So that's what we need to go into. Also, another little hot topic. Okay. Sherri Shepard. Yeah. She got some drama with an actress. What? And you mentioned that actress' name. Ooh. Now, I ain't going to say who the actress is. Okay. But I'm
You going to hint?
I'll hint around about it.
Okay.
But she's a 90s actress.
Okay.
That used to have very short hair.
Okay.
That's not Halle Berry.
Okay.
Who else had short hair back then? Not what's her name? Not Jada Pinkett.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I think that was all the ones with short hair, right?
Oh my God. Well, I don't know. In Waiting to Exhale, I think Angela Bassett has some short hair.
After she cut it off, she caught that car on fire.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so here we go. Here's
Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal's show Othello. So this unnamed celebrity actress who shall remain nameless. I'm sitting there talking, somebody grabbed my arms and they forcefully turned me around. So I'm in a good mood. So I go, hi, what's going on? Because I know her. And she says to me, she goes, you've been shading me a lot. That's what she said to me.
Wait, hold on. Pause. She sounds just like her. You've been shading me a lot. Yeah. She sounds just like her. Okay,
that's true.
I said, no, I haven't, because I was really confused. And then she goes, yes, you have. And then she just walked off. Now, let me tell you something. First of all, I know who I shade, because I don't shade many people. It might be one person I shade. And I never have shaded this unnamed celebrity. And I'm like, so she came to me in front of everybody going, you shaded me. And then she walks off. So, hey, unnamed, so I was mad. I was really mad. And I said, you know what? You don't freaking get to do that to me. So I went to the bathroom during intermission. I stood there for 15 minutes waiting for a meeting in the ladies' room. Okay? Come on, tell me I shaded you. So I would say the unnamed celebrity, because you think I done shaded you, which means you watch my show. I don't know who you think I am. I think you get me confused with somebody, one of the bloggers or the influencers, because I know I didn't shade you. Matter of fact, when something scandalous came up about you, I was on your side when it happened. So I would say the unnamed celebrity, because we've known each other a long time. Come sit on my couch so we can talk about it. And you know who you are.
Now, I don't know who figured it out, but somebody from that party that was in attendance, and from this TikTok that this person, SSD Radio, put on, it has Sherri Shepard on one side, and then it has said named celebrity, who, are we there yet, on the other side. And then it goes up, and then she so it shows you everybody who was in attendance for that opening for the Othello. So they named people in attendance, and they start showing names at the bottom. So it's like, one of these people saw this and let everybody know what's happening.
Oh, God.
Somebody was standing around and heard this.
So that's how we know.
That's how we know it is. Yes.
Plus, she sounded just like that person. Just like you said it, I was like,
that
sounds like
But I mean, a lot of people have deciphered the code, but you know.
But and a lot of people have thought that person was difficult.
Yeah. That's very true. So that's very true. You just said that. I thought she was difficult. But I mean, I do think she could be difficult, because I think she's high maintenance. She just looks like, maybe she just has resting bee face. That's what makes her look like she's high maintenance.
No, I think, this is just my opinion, I think when people have been in Hollywood for so long,
they have standards that are too high?
They are jaded.
I got you, yeah. I think they can't trust anybody?
No, I mean, not even that. I'm saying, I think that when you are famous for so long, you just become a different person. Like you were, like you might have been a nice, sweet, kind, loving person when you started in the industry when you were 12.
Oh, okay, I got
but
you.
But now that you have always had people around you, and you've always had hair and makeup, and you've always had best designer clothes, and you've always been on a red carpet, and you've always then it becomes, but you know who I am. Right? Like, why are you treating me this way? You know who I am. So I think that some people just get jaded in regards to like, no, I am me and I am her. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or some men too, I'm sure. No, this isn't what it is. So that's where I just feel like,
don't you know who I am people? I hate that.
Yeah. So I feel like some people get to that point. Now there's other people that I feel, like, for example, I'll say this, Megan Good, right? She had short hair, so now I'm saying it's not her.
Oh, yeah.
But basically, I feel like she started off when she was super, super young. She was little. She actually talked about it. She was in, I think it was Boys in the Hood or whatever. She was sitting on the curb and got sprayed with the hose or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like she seems like a person who, yes, I started when I was young, but I've stayed humble. And I don't feel like I'm better than anybody else, even though I'm older and I've been in Hollywood for a long time. But she also is one of those people that everybody was like, oh, you know, the cute girl, the really cute girl. But they didn't really know her name. I feel like her name just became her name probably 10, 15 years after.
Yeah, I get that.
She, whereas Neil, somebody else was always that person.
All right, guys, it's Nia Long. We're just going to tell you. It's Nia Long. Sherri, Shepard, and Nia Long got beef. No, that's fine. It's fine. Because if they go to SSZ Radio, they will see that it's a picture of her.
But I do feel like some people like that, where it's like, oh, you've been this person all along. You've been the hot girl all along. You've been the person all along. Then it becomes, I'm her. Yeah. But it's the same thing with Gabrielle Union. People say she's been difficult. But she's been popular her whole life.
That's true,
she actually admitted when her and Jada Pinkett sat down at the red table, she was like, I was that person who believed what everybody told me about other actresses. Okay. So it was always like they were pitting me against other people. Oh, Jada went for that after you. She got it. You didn't. And then it became this thing where it's like, oh, now she's my competition.
Yes.
And now I'm going to be mad at her. And I'm going to treat. And you can see Gabrielle and can see she going to give you a face.
Oh, absolutely.
She can be that person.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I feel like she came straight from Baltimore.
Yeah, and she was just like, and I was that person because people in the industry were trying to pit me against everybody who was going up for the same roles that I was. And instead of me being like a Taraji, she didn't say Taraji, but I mean, instead of her being like, I'm going to support you. Like Tiffany Haddish, I'm for everything black or whatever, whoever said that. But anyway, it was Issa.
Oh yeah,
I'm for everything black. Yeah. Anybody black, Instead of being that girl's girl, she said I wasn't that person, and I had to work on that. And so at least she was honest enough to admit.
Yeah, and Nia Long, she has been acting since 1986. She was on 227.
Right. I mean, she's been on everything, so she's been in that industry for so long that she's just like, look, I don't know what it's like to be poor. I don't know what it's like to have to deal with people who tell me no. I don't know what it's like to not have the best of everything. And she's been great because, up until probably recently, she's been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Recently she was in that movie where she played the mom and all of that. But it's not the back-to-back stuff like she used to be. At one point, I think they had either her or somebody, and they said, oh, I have 5 more movies coming out. And she was, like, in the 90s, the it girl, you know what I mean?
Oh, she was in it's actually the 2000s. She was in everything.
The 2000s? Okay.
The 2000s, she was in, like, everything is 2000, 2001, 2002, 2000.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Friday was her first big...
2007, 2008. It's like, it's all...
Yeah, it was, she said that Friday was her first big thing because she said, where it was based at. She said, I literally could have walked from where John Singleton told me that the movie was going to be filmed to my house. Like, that's how close I was to where Friday was going to be. She said it was like right around the corner from where I live. So that was like her big break.
Yeah. So that's what I had. Halle Berry doesn't have herpes. Nope. And Sherri Shepard didn't want to really beat up Nia Long in the bathroom. She just wanted to talk to her.
Yeah, and she wants her to come on the couch for ratings.
Let's talk on it.
Let's get some ratings. So
I get it because the whole thing is like, if you are going to be here, if you gonna come up to me and say something and then not let me respond,
but why?
You just come up.
Why was Sherri talking about that on her show? Was it like just something that she was?
Well, I think she was talking about her going to see Othello.
Oh, okay.
Because Othello had just opened.
Because everybody's gonna crack the code. Like you being a little shady? Are you being a little shady by trying to put it out there so that people will figure out who?
Well,
you
I don't know
about?
because she doesn't say anything.
No, but she says her accent. She sounds just like her.
Oh yeah, but that means nothing. But see, that's the thing. But if you don't know who it is, you're not gonna pick up on it. Only reason I know who it wasn't even because of this post completely. It was because I was listening to the Breakfast Club and Lauren LaRosa did her research and said that she got the information. So. Okay. Yeah, that's how I got that.
All right. So anyway, well, yeah. So
that's how I got that. This
is it. All right. Well, that is it for today's episode of Sestra-Tainment.
Everybody music doesn't want to work right now.
Have an amazing day. We got a whole other song that
I don't even know what just happened. I am so sorry. I apologize.
You know this is
live. This is live.
Yeah. Okay. But all right, everybody, have an amazing week.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.
Yes.
And happy Easter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy Easter. All right, everybody, take care. Bye.